and welcome back to the Hershey Magic online course. This is lesson 4, and today we're going to do something with a strange prop, but it's something you can do at home with just about anything. What I'm using is a little sponge ball. Now, there's nothing too terribly interesting about this, and I can show you a pretty cool illusion with it. If I were to lay it into the palm of my hand like this, it kind of looks like I've split it into two. Okay, maybe not really, but if I actually saw through it a little bit with my hand like that, it actually does look a little bit more like two. Now here's something interesting. If I were to take one and put it into this hand here, and I take one and put it into this hand here, I can actually take this one, toss it up into the air invisibly, and catch it through the back of this hand. Just like that. Here, let's do something else. Actually, we'll put one of these away. No, let's not put it. Let's just use this one here. If I take this one here, like this, put it into my hand, you can see it. If I squeeze it really, really tight and just count to 3, 1, 2, 3. That should do it. It should leave me with now 1, 2, and 3 sponge balls. Now if you're paying attention, you see that I have 3 here on the table. If I do actually get rid of one this time and put it into my pocket, I've left 2 on the table. If I take this one here and put it into my hand, I've left 1 on the table. If I put this one also into my pocket, how many did I leave on the table? And how many did I leave in the pocket? Which leaves how many here? Now I'd say it's 3. It's a 3-ball trick, so there's always going to be 3. We'll try it one more time. If I put one into the pocket, like this, okay? I take one and I put it into my hand here, and I take this one and I also put this into the pocket. That leaves how many in the hand, and how many on the table, and how many in the pocket? How many in the hand? No, actually that was when I was doing the trick. Now there's none left in the hand because the trick is over. So that's the sponge ball trick, and that's what we're going to work on today, and I'm going to teach you a couple of different moves that you can use with a bunch of everyday objects, or you can run out to a magic shop and pick up sponge balls if you want. So we'll get started here in a second. Stick around. Okay, welcome to the explanation portion of the Hershey Magic Online course. This is the explanation for lesson 4, the sponge balls. I'm going to teach you a couple of different sleights with these today. Now, you can use objects at home. If you don't have a set of sponge balls, you can get them at any magic shop. But if you don't have a set of sponge balls, you can use little balled up napkins. You can take a sponge and actually cut it up into small pieces and use those as well. So what I'm going to teach you is the sleights that we did, and then I'll show you how to put it into a routine. I'm going to teach you a routine with 2 of them here. One of the things that's really nice about actually using real sponge balls is that they squish up really, really, really small. So if you put them into your hand and squeeze 2 of them together really, really small, you can't feel that there's more than one in your hand, which is really nice if you want to do this trick with somebody else and you want to put the sponge balls into your spectator's hand. But the first thing I did was I pulled a sponge ball out of my pocket, and I had one hidden, squished up really tight in my hand. So I was showing one, and I had the other one hidden in almost like a finger palm, but really just kind of hidden, squished up in the hand. And what I did was, the first thing is I split this one into 2. That's the first little piece of magic that you saw there. The way I do that is, as I come down to put the sponge ball into this hand, I'm going to release this one onto this portion of the hand up by the fingers as this one lays down in the palm. So I'm actually going to lay them down together just like that. But I'm going to leave it squished down with my fingers, only exposing the first one here. And then I'm just going to move these 2 fingers, the ring in the middle, out of the way as I squeeze these 2 together over the line that separates the 2 sponge balls, so that it still looks just like one, like that. I'll do that again. You start with this one sponge ball hidden. Start with one sponge ball here like this. As I put this one in the hand here, I put this one towards the front, hidden under the hand. Use my index finger to cover the line of the 2 sponge balls there. And now it looks like I've just got my finger separating the one sponge ball into 2 halves. And now all I do is I just run my finger back and forth between that line that, of course, they're already split because I have 2 of them, and allow them to expand, and it looks like I've cut them into 2 sponge balls. I'll do it one more time at speed. Got this one here, lay it into the palm, saw through it, 2 sponge balls, just like that. Okay? Now the next thing I did, and the next thing I'm going to teach you, is called a retention vanish. And a retention vanish is called that because when I take the sponge ball and I place it into my hand, you can actually see it go into the hand. But of course it really didn't go into the hand. And that's why it's called a retention vanish, a retention of vision. In other words, it looks like you can see it all the way up until the very last second when the hand closes around it. But in truth, it never actually stays in the hand. So the way that is accomplished, and this is going to take a little bit of practice. This doesn't come very easily, but it's worth it if you put the time into it. I put the sponge ball, I pinch it between my first finger and my thumb. And I'm going to lay it into this palm over by the thumb, by where the thumb and the index finger meet on this side. And as these fingers curl around to hide the sponge ball or to take the sponge ball, what happens is these fingers that are of the right hand that are holding the sponge ball are going to steal it back into the palm as these fingers close around it. So if we take it here, lay it into the palm, as these fingers close, my middle finger gets in there, pulls the sponge ball back as the hand closes around the sponge ball. So at speed it looks like it's just gone into the hand, and really I've retained it in the right hand. So we'll go over it one more time. Starts pinched between the thumb and first finger, lays down here by where the index finger and thumb make an L. As this hand closes around it, the middle finger and the ring are going to steal it back into the right hand, and this hand is going to close to show that it's holding the sponge ball. Just like that. Now you don't want to close your hand too tight and make like a fist, because it won't look like you're holding anything. You want to keep your hand kind of loose, like there could be something in there. So you want to keep that shape, even though there's nothing in the hand. Do it one more time for you here, like this. Looks like it's in the hand. Of course it's over here. That is the retention vanish. Now what's nice about that is if you take one sponge ball, do the vanish, then pick up the other sponge ball and squeeze it into your hand nice and tight. You hold your hands out like this. Now they think they've got one in each hand. You just take the first one, toss it up into the air invisibly, and just catch it with the second, and it looks like one has traveled invisibly. And that's the point that'll work with a spectator too. You can take the first sponge ball, put it in one hand, take the second sponge ball, squeeze them real tight together, even exposed you can almost not see it. Put that into a spectator's hand, tell them to close real tight, then you can take your sponge ball and toss it into their hand, and when they open their hand, they'll have 2 or 3 or 4 or however many you're working with. So that's why it's good to use the actual sponge balls. It's really, really difficult to feel more than one in your hand. I mean, you can even have 3 or 4 of them in your hand, and it's very hard to tell. So what we've done so far is produce the first sponge ball, laid it into the hand, split it into 2, like that. Taken one, put it into one hand, one, put it into the other hand, just like that, and one's disappeared and joined over here in the right hand. I'll show you another vanish that you can do. If you take the sponge ball and you make a kind of an open fist here, like this, and lay it on top and stuff it into the hand there, it vanishes the same way. And the way that's done is actually, it's a lot simpler than a retention vanish. Leave your hand kind of open, put the sponge ball on top, and when you go to jam the sponge ball into your palm, you're really going to jam your thumb behind it, like this. Can you see that there? So the thumb actually, the thumb actually goes behind the sponge ball. As the thumb goes into the hand, you pinch, when your hand covers here, you pinch your hand against your thumb and come back out with the sponge ball in this little thumb pinched grip here, and it looks like you've just stuffed it into this hand. One more time at speed, it looks like you just jammed it into the hand there, and of course you've kept it over here the whole time. Again, that'll work. Oh, excuse me. That'll work if you take the one, jam it into the hand, take the other. You can do that same trick where you toss one invisibly into the other hand. So just to go over that one more time. Put the sponge ball on top of a loose fist, push your thumb in behind the sponge ball, pinch, and pull the sponge ball back out like that. You can then put it into a finger palm if you want to, or you can leave it where it is. Pick up the other sponge ball, squish the two together, toss the one, joins the other one there. If you remember the French drop, you can also use the French drop move that we learned with the sponge balls because they're nice and small. Generally, because if you're right-handed or left-handed, that'll put the sponge ball in the opposite hand that we've been working with. So you'd take it like that, and this time you'd toss it from the right to the left, or again, add it to a spectator's hand. So there's a couple of different vanishes that you can do. I'm going to show you one more vanish that I like a lot that you can take with you. This one's, it looks like a retention vanish. It is a retention vanish, but it's easier to do. take the sponge ball, pinch it between the first finger and the second finger. And you're going to lay it into the hand and let your hand close around it. Okay? I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like you're taking it into the hand like that, and it vanishes that quickly. And the way that's done is it's so simple, but it looks so good. This is an example of a larger action covering a smaller action. Basically what that means is you'll do a bigger move that gets more attention. That way the small move that you're doing isn't seen. And it's incredibly important in magic and the art of misdirection. And misdirection, if you are unaware of what that is basically having people look where you want them to look when you do something else, or guiding people to pay attention to the things you want them to pay attention to rather than pay attention to the things you don't want them to see. It happens in absolutely all forms of magic, be it on stage with large illusions or card tricks or rope tricks, anything. So, excuse me, this is how it's done. It's pinched between the first and second finger, and then as his hand closes, you're simply going to pull it out. Pull the sponge ball back out, put it into the palm. Now I usually do it in an up-down motion, and in the up-down motion I can bring the sponge ball up to here, still having it almost exposed, into the palm, like when we do the thumb palm vanish, and then wave down to show that it's gone. Of course it's over here. So it goes into the hand, this hand actually closes around it, and you just steal it back out, and it looks like it's gone into the hand because it happens too quickly. It looks like it's just into the hand, and of course it's not. So that is one other retention vanish variation that you can use. It looks great. It's easier to do than the retention vanish. But what's nice about the retention vanish is it can be done very slowly. You can take it and just lay it into the hand nice and slow, and it still looks just as good as if you did it as quickly as that. Now here's the one or two touches I want to talk about. When you do a vanish, whether it be a French drop or a retention vanish, you never want to draw too much attention to the hand that actually has the prop in it, or the dirty hand, if you will. I see a lot of people, they'll do a French drop, they'll take it, they'll do the move right, but they'll immediately pull their hand away. And when that draws attention. If I do this and I pull this hand away, you're going to look here, because naturally people, they focus on moving objects. It's just it's a human nature thing. So if I were to do this, you're going to watch over here and not the hand I want you to watch, which is why when I taught the French drop the first time with the coin, I said after you make it vanish, bring this hand up and keep the attention and focus here, and just let this hand casually drop, because your eyes will naturally follow, the moving object. So you want to keep the moving object the center of attention, so pay attention to what it is that you're moving. Same thing with a retention vanish. I'll see a lot of guys, they'll do it and then they'll separate really quickly. Well, you don't know where to follow or anything like that, and what's important in magic is guiding your spectators to watch what you want them to watch when you want them to watch it. You want to be in control of the situation at all times. So even something as simple as a vanish, you want them to look where you need them to look. You don't want them to be confused as to where to look. Here, with a retention vanish, they may just not know where to look. Here with the French drop, they're immediately going to look at whatever moves. And you want to keep control over where they're watching. So you want to, again, do your retention vanish, bring this hand into view, casually bring this one out of view at the same time. That was kind of cruddy. Do this again, like that. And then they watch, they follow where your hand moves. It's important. Misdirection is incredibly important, and being in control of your audience at all times is also very important. So I just wanted to touch on that really quickly. The last thing that I did with the sponge balls is a very simple routine. It used a couple more sponge balls. I'm not going to explain it here, but if you want more information on sponge balls and whatnot, visit your local magic shop, pick up a book. Again, the Mark Wilson complete course in magic has a ton of stuff on sponge balls in it. There's countless videos and DVDs, and usually if you buy a set of sponge balls, the magician that works at the shop will teach you one or two different routines with all of them. So that's lesson number 4. I hope you enjoyed it. Practice until you can't get it wrong. Don't forget that. And we'll see you next time.